We come to you in this month of Thanksgiving and we give you thanks. We give you thanks for all that you have done for us, all that you are to us, the wisdom and the mercy and the grace that you show us. Father, I thank you for my colleagues that are seated here. I pray that you continue to make your presence known. Father, you've given us wisdom. You've shown us the way, and now it is our responsibility to walk in it. I pray every day that we will be able to overcome our flesh. We do what we want to do instead of what we know, what we should do. We all struggle with that. Even the Apostle Paul struggled with that. And it's frustrating, Father, but we know in our human nature that is something that we are going to contend with every single day. But your grace is new. Your mercies are new every single day, Father. And we ask that today, on this Tuesday, you give us enough for today, and that we walk in your presence all day, that we abide with you, that we don't look to the left or the right, that we don't look to ourselves, that we don't look to the world, that we don't get distracted and discouraged by the enemy, because this is his world. But we know that you are in us, and you are so much greater than he who is in the world, Father. So we claim your power and your presence today. We love you. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
And that get the job done.
You did the job. You talked about grace and mercy.
Amen.
Y'all need grace and mercy.
Every day.
Good morning.
Morning.
Today, our attendees are Sheriff Derek Cunningham, Finance Director Cheryl Thomas, Michael Burdell from the District Attorney's Office, Attorney Clint Graves with Gilpin Gavan, and Executive Director Tara Davis from Friendship Mission. The items to be considered during the formal session is Juvenile Court Grant Agreement, consider Employee Recognition and Appreciation Program and related 2023 budget, consider miscellaneous appropriations to agencies.
Oh, no.
Consider,
Wait a minute.
Thought you had taken mine.
Let's see, I got one. $3,000 to peers, the Veterans Organization.
This is agency. This is agency we talking about now?
Yeah.
I need to get.
wait.
Wait a minute, I'm not done. Is Commander Williams here, Fred here? It's for, they got a Thanksgiving program that's going on. I want to support that, $3,000.
the $3,000 to peers is for the Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Mine is, I need to give $750 to historic Mobile Heights. And $1,000 Westview Gardens.
Is anyone else? Consider miscellaneous appropriations to education.
Florence, did I have one added for Park Crossing High School?
You had two.
Okay, I wanted to make sure Teresa got those in time.
Consider miscellaneous appropriations from designated revenue. Consider a two-step irregular salary increase for William Estes. And consider travel training requests for community corrections, the county commission, engineering, probate, and the sheriff's office.
Short and sweet.
We'll hear from the sheriff.
Yeah, 'cause you coming up.
I don't know.
Because you asking for something.
I'm gonna ask for that pretty soon. Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing? Oh, good. Hey, Carl. Y'all, I see you're here. We do a lot with the homeless, so I'm glad to see you here, Superintendent. Glad to see everybody. All right. I guess I'm talking about what, the security guards?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. City county personnel came back. They looked at the guards over at the city, and they were at an AO3, and they did the study, came back, and they're being reclassified to AO4. And we have the same with our nighttime building security that we have here. So we're just requesting that our security guards are moved up to that same level.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I want to support this recommendation from personnel on this, but I'm concerned now that I think we all agreed that the pay for all county employees needed to be reviewed. And I'm concerned that we're doing it piecemeal. It seems that every other meeting, a department head come in and ask for an increase for their department or their area. And I think that what we wanted to do overall was to look at all of the salaries and come up with it and do it once and for all, instead of every other meeting having someone come in and request an increase in that manner. So I just want to.
Is Carmen doing a study?
Carmen right there.
Carmen.
Yeah, but,
What?
but that's my concern, Mr. Chairman, that we should have done it in one fell sweep, so to speak. If we were looking at all of the jobs, positions, then that should have been presented to us so we could vote on it all. Because we're going to end up out of balance if we don't. I have that funny feeling.
Carmen, can you address that? Are we looking at across the board?
I noticed I'm running some duplicates of you.
Good morning, Commissioners. During the budget hearings, I did bring up that this fiscal year, we have not looked at every job that I recall since my employment with Montgomery City County Personnel Board. I don't think it's ever been done. So this fiscal year, that is a project that we are doing. Okay. And so that's why you're seeing them. As we look at them, you're receiving the information. You know, I can provide you with the data, and however you all choose to implement it, it's up to you all.
Okay.
So yes, we are doing it.
We'd appreciate that, prior to rolling it out. We'd appreciate knowing that, and because I think what we're going to end up with at the end of the day, if we do it this way, with an unbalance again. I think this thing started out with the IT department. We knew they were underpaid, and we wanted to look at them. And I think I said at that time, we need to look at everybody. And that's what I wanted to happen. And this, I'm just uncomfortable going this piecemeal, this one at a time route. I'm so afraid we're going to end up out of balance at the end of the day.
That's the reason why when the city starts increasing theirs and they look at us and say, you got these same positions, we have to go take a look at ours and say, well, we need to increase ours as well. So it'll be great if we can get everybody to be looked at the same time and to roll out something, because that affects us, not just my departments, but you got to look at all the other departments that fall under the county as well. So that is a great recommendation. So hopefully we can move in that direction. But this position right here today, I hate for them to have their security guards being paid at a higher rate than ours. So, and I feel that ours do the same exact thing, because on the weekends and in the evenings, that's who we look for. And they patrol not just downtown, they go out to our county annexes as well. So it's a must. And yes, we need to take care of our employees today.
Sheriff, we're not, I want you to understand my position.
Oh, I understand.
I'm not rejecting the recommendation. I support the recommendation. I mean, I support the study. It's just the way we're going about doing it. You know, that's my only objection. No, I don't doubt that pay recommendation is what's required and what should be granted.
Okay.
But are we going to do this every other meeting until they get it done, or should we just do it comprehensively and in one fell swoop and then leave it alone for a while, you know?
How many, building security officers you have?
5.
Any other questions, comments?
4. I had to think. Yeah, I had to think.
Any other questions? Next agenda.
All right. Was that it, Florence? I am. Thank y'all.
Cheryl Thomas is here to speak about item number 4.
Good morning. I'm just asking, I have looked at a couple of accounting software programs. This is to track leases that are now required for financial reporting. And we looked at a couple of different software companies, and I looked at DebtBook and would appreciate y'all putting that on the next agenda and approving that contract. I knew this was coming, so it is in the budget. The total cost is $11,250, including implementation, then going forward it's a 3-year contract.
So they'll increase 5% annually every year
Yes,
after the first year.
right.
Any questions? That'll be next agenda.
Thank you.
Michael Burdell from the District Attorney's Office has 2 waive rule items.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
The Equitable Sharing and Accreditation and Certification, or ESAC, is something that law enforcement agencies need to get recertified annually if they participate in federal crime investigations or prosecutions and there is a seizure of assets afterwards. This certification allows law enforcement agencies to receive a portion of the shares. In full disclosure, the deadline to apply is November 30th. However, the verbiage to recertify says that submission before the deadline does not guarantee acceptance of an agency's ESAC. If the ESAC is not accepted by the submission deadline, then the agency is non-compliant, and they warn that the last 2 weeks before the deadline, which is November 30th, is extremely busy. We would hate to go through the process, make the submission deadline, and then not have it accepted just because of a huge backlog.
No financial impact at all.
None whatsoever.
Is there any objection to waiving rules for this today?
I have no objection.
No objection.
What's your second one?
Second one is the National Crime Victim Rights Week CAP grant. This is a grant that is spread across the country to spread awareness of crime victim rights. And what we would use it for if we receive these funds is to underwrite our annual Evening of Remembrance event that memorializes crime victims here in Montgomery County. Chairman Singleton, Commissioner Harris, thank you for attending the event back in the spring. This too does not have any impact on the
Financially.
exactly.
Will it be again in the spring?
It will. It's always that last or next to last week in April.
And this is another one that's got a deadline on it?
It does, November 17th.
Okay. Any objection to waiving
How much is
rules?
that grant, Michael?
Hopefully about $5,000. It's not a lot, but the idea is to spread it far and
I
wide
see.
nationwide.
Yeah. No objection.
All right. Thank you, Michael.
I'd be remiss if I didn't once again mention how gorgeous Commissioner Walker and Commissioner Morris Ziegler are looking today.
Michael,
And that Commissioner Harris, Chair Singleton, Vice Chair Sankey, you guys are looking quite dashing as well, and I thank
you-
you.
you can-
And of
Michael-
course, the attorney, Armstead, and my friends over,
Don't forget, we're more than just a pretty face.
oh, much, much more, the face, the brains, total package, and the wisdom. That's what I appreciate the most, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
You may be seated.
Save some of that for when you come and need money, save some of that.
Oh, I've got plenty where that came from.
You put it in the right order today.
Okay.
Clint Graves is here to discuss items number 5 and 6 regarding the DHR building.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. The resolution we are introducing before you today is authorizing renovation, financing, and lease of the DHR facilities in Montgomery County to the Alabama Department of Human Resources. What's being proposed is a lease structure where the Public Building Authority will issue its warrants to finance the renovation of the DHR facilities located at 3030 Mobile Highway. The facilities are the facilities and the real property are owned by the county. We're proposing that those facilities and the property would be leased through a ground lease to the Public Building Authority, who would then lease back their leasehold interest to the county, who would then sublease that interest to Alabama DHR. That's the general structure of DHR financings in the state of Alabama. That property would also be mortgaged. The key is that the warrants being issued by the Public Building Authority would be payable solely out of the rent payments that are due from Alabama DHR to Montgomery County out of that sublease. And those rent payments are being paid directly to the trustee for the warrants. What's before you is, in the resolution, the only county action to be taken is the approval of the ground lease from Montgomery County to the Public Building Authority, the lease agreement from Public Building Authority to Montgomery County, and then the county's sublease to Alabama DHR.
Any questions?
Who's responsible for the maintenance of that building, sir?
Do it.
The maintenance, once the building is-
Alabama DHR. It's in the sublease. It makes it clear that Alabama DHR is responsible for the maintenance of that building.
Be next agenda.
That's correct.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And then item number 6 is to consider the bid award for the renovation of the Montgomery County Department of Human Resources building to Russell Construction.
Where's that? Which building is that?
The same building.
The same building.
They put it, the process they use is to put the project out for bid so they know exactly how much money needs to be borrowed. And so this is Russell Construction was the low bidder.
We just have to approve that part. Okay, that'll be next agenda.
All right. Thank you.
Michael Armistead is going to present item 7.
Good morning, Commissioners. On November 2nd, 2004, an election was held to authorize the county to collect a 3.5 mil special tax for the schools. This tax expires in October of 2024. We've got the school boards here, and they're requesting that the county commission call a special election of this 3.5 mil tax to be held on March 5th, 2024, which is the date of the primary election of next year. If passed, this tax will begin in October of 2024 for a period of 30 years, and it will not raise taxes for the people. It is merely a renewal of an existing tax that's been in place since 2004.
So this one expires at the end, September of '24.
And this picks up where that one drops off.
Any questions?
With this one, I was just curious. I wanted to hear from the attorneys because I didn't have time to try to interpret the legal language. But in any event, does this have anything at all to do with the recent ad valorem tax that was passed to fund the schools?
It does not. This was in place back in '04, and it had nothing to do with the ad valorem tax that was voted on.
Was this
Mr. Chairman.
3.5 of the original 10 mills?
No, this is a 3.5 mil tax that was authorized under the Constitution of Alabama, Section 269.01. So this is one that is allowed. You just have to implement it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
there might be some confusion, and we would really hope that there isn't, and try to clear it up. This is not a tax increase. You've been paying this 3.5 for the last 30 years, and if we can renew it, it'll be paid for the next, it won't have any effect at all. Now, where the confusion is probably going to come in, I think this year is the first year that we are collecting the 12 meals that we were able to receive some 2 or 3 years ago. For some reason that escapes me, we weren't allowed to collect that. We were delayed in collecting it for 3 years. Pike Road's been getting theirs for 3 years, and we're just now getting ours. And we applied for them the same year. Go
We're-
figure.
That's not quite accurate.
Well, go figure.
That's not accurate,
Well,
Commissioner Harris.
well, it's close to accurate.
Close to
My,
accurate.
my,
Close to accurate
the
is
truth,
inaccurate.
the truth is that we had a delay. Montgomery County had a 2 or 3 year delay in collecting the tax that was granted in that election. And Pike Road went in and got a similar raise in their school millage, and it was effective immediately. I think that's
With-
closer to correct.
How
But
long
at-
before
at-
theirs
at-
was
at-
effective?
At any rate,
Was that
it's
1 year, 2
coming
years,
due
3
this
years?
year. It's coming due this year. Please do not confuse it with the 3.5 that we're asking for at this point. This 3.5 is a continuance of a tax that we've already paid, and what you're feeling in your new statements, and I've gotten calls and letters on the new statements. I mean, people are complaining about their taxes going up. That increase is due to the 12 mills that were added when we got the election to raise the school millage for Montgomery County. And we all know that increase in millage for Montgomery County schools was well needed. I mean, we were at 10 mills, the minimum board state, and we had been at 10 mills forever. And our school system, you know what the shape it was in. And I can tell you that we haven't received the money yet, but I can tell you we received a new superintendent, and since that time, I've seen the improvements in public education in Montgomery County, and I think that if we maintain the level of funding that we have right now, including the 12 mills increase, we're going to see great strides in Montgomery Public Schools, and that's what we need to continue to grow.
The timing is quite unfortunate because, yes, everybody got their property tax bill, and in some cases it doubled plus. So really the onus is on us to educate the constituency on what's going on. So I just encourage my colleagues, every HOA meeting, every opportunity you're able to speak to a civic group or organization, just make sure to explain the difference, that this won't be an increase, and then what the property tax increase was. That's our job, because the public, they just see the increase in their bill, and then they hear that there's another tax on the ballot. So it's our job to educate them. But I want to echo what Commissioner Harris said. Dr. Brown, I've been a public opponent of a lot of the decisions and policies of Montgomery Public Schools in my tenure. In my 9 years on the commission, I've never been as excited and confident about where Montgomery Public Schools is and is going under your leadership. And I don't say things I don't mean. So I just want to say publicly, thank you. You've been here over a year, and you've already shown that you're the person for the job, and you're doing the job. So thank you. So whatever I can do to help support you, I certainly intend to do that.
I think it should be whatever we can do to support him.
I didn't want
And-
to speak for everybody.
It should be unanimous up here that we all support Montgomery Public School System, because they're our leaders.
Well,
The
we
kids
need
are
to
here
also-
for our leaders.
yeah, we gotta keep in mind, this is Montgomery County schools.
Montgomery County, right.
Which means this is not just MPS. This is also Pike Road schools affected by this, so.
Well, I know, but I was just
Yeah,
saying
so,
Montgomery County.
but-
It's
Yeah, but I
us.
don't want the people to think
Well,
that
yeah.
this only affects Montgomery Public Schools. It also affects Pike Road schools, which,
I think that letter I got was from Pike Road. Did you get that letter?
what's that?
It was from somebody in Pike Road, wasn't it, the letter?
Which letter?
One of the letters,
Oh, I got,
complaining about
Yeah.
the huge increase. Oh, you might,
We
maybe the
all-
writer
we
is
all got a lot
present
of
today, I
those
don't know.
Letters and phone calls and
Oh,
emails.
yeah, we received
But,
those
I mean,
phone calls.
it's confusion is what it is, and it should be clear that, no, this is not an increase.
So
Next
the
to,
totalage millage, I'm sorry, I just want
Yeah.
to, and if we're continuing 3.5 and the new ad valorem increase of the one that was passed, what's the total millage now for Montgomery County?
for Montgomery County,
22.
it is 41 point something. Pike Road is 48 point, no, excuse me. unincorporated areas is 41 or 42 mills.
I think,
Yeah, Clay, tell us, you know exactly. 69 for Pike Road.
The schools are 22, right? The school's portion of it.
Is that right, Keith? Dr. Langford's here.
And
for
that's,
Pike Road.
and that's the portion that you're experiencing an increase. The 10 mills was actually added to that portion of the ad valorem that goes for school, the school millage. That was the part that was increased. The rest of it wasn't under that act, the bill that we got passed.
Clay, was the original 10 mills, was this part of that 10 mills original? The 3.5? That's what I thought.
It's a remarkably convoluted process,
It is.
and at its origin, it was done rather piecemeal, so we have to review this periodically. If anybody can explain that to the residents of Montgomery County, you can tag along with me to all of my HOA meetings, but
Can't explain that.
But
Can't
it's
explain that,
very
try it.
important that people do understand that the unincorporated area is 41, 42 mills, 41 point something, right? 41 even. 48 mills for inside the city limits of 48 and a half.
See.
City limits of Montgomery, and then 69 for people that live in the town. Yeah.
you tell us who's on first, and we'll thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
thank you so much.
But again, this is a renewal of what's already on the books for Montgomery County, which includes 2 school systems. So, any other questions? That'll be next agenda.
next we'll hear from Tara Davis with Friendship Mission.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
With me today is Mrs. Donna Cooper with Smart Bank Montgomery, but more importantly for us today, she is a longtime board member.
Speak a little bit louder so people
Okay.
can hear you on air, in the air, yeah.
Okay, so Mrs. Cooper is a longtime board member with Friendship Mission, and she's joining me today. For those who do not know, Friendship Mission is a set of homeless shelters and a public soup kitchen that has operated for nearly 30 years in Montgomery. Today, we are the shelter for this county. Our shelters are full, and our coffers are nearly bare. This comes because of a string of emergency maintenance issues that could not wait, so that we could operate as a safe haven for those who are hungry and homeless in our county. Today we have 27 men. We have 30 beds. We expect those 2 beds, those few beds that are open, to be filled soon, today, by the end of today. We have 20 adult women at our Women and Children's facility and 17 children ages 7 months to 12 years old who are homeless in our county. There is nowhere else for them to go.
Is that maximum capacity for the women and children, or what's your capacity for that
For
shelter?
our women and children, we can go up to 22 women, and we've had as many as 17. Today we have 17. We've had as many as 22 children. Mind you, that some of those children are in a crib or a pack and play, if you will, and not a twin bed, which is our typical bed. Our typical beds are what we call shelter grade bed frames and mattresses that are specially made. Today I'm here because we need help to save our shelters. This is a hard ask. Our year-end appeal went out yesterday. It hit mailboxes, and it literally says, this holiday season, help us save our shelters. There are many in this room who have supported Friendship Mission over the years, including the sheriff. But we need more help. It is critical that we receive your help today, just so that we can operate.
Ms. Stowe, when you
I've got-
say help, can you, what's your ask as far as help?
We're looking,
The banker's going to flip over here. Our actual ask this morning is $150,000. Let me explain how we came up with that ask.
To include your budget also, let us know that, your
Okay.
annual budget.
The actual shelter expenses, not including the problems that come up in very old buildings, but the actual shelter expenses are about $65,000 per month. That covers food, utilities, the salary for the staff, and I will be quite honest, we are very understaffed because we don't have the money to compete with a McDonald's or whoever. Our budget is incredibly tight, and it always has been. I've been on the board of directors for 14 and a half years, and I can promise you, we used to pass the hat at those early meetings to pay the power bill. So it has always lived on a shoestring. In particular, the budget grew, more than doubled, when we were awarded the property on Chisholm Street for the women and women with children. At $65,000 per month, what I did to calculate the ask was to run the ask, because we are literally broke. As of this week, we will run out of money. But what I am asked, or excuse me, as of next week, we will run out of money, not this week, next week. But the ask is based on $65,000 for 4 months to absolutely get us through the winter months. As you would imagine, shelter occupancy increases when it's cold outside. People need to get off the street, and we have people that just suddenly appear when the weather is about to turn cold. So not wanting to have to shut our doors during the winter months, during the holiday months, we took the $65,000, multiplied it by the 4 months, and we split it in half, because we also have that request for the city of Montgomery as well. This is not just a county ask. We've got a city ask in as well. Half of, well, that totals $260,000, so half for the county would be $130,000. Tara mentioned the emergencies that we have had within the shelter. I wish that I could say that we've got them all fixed and everything's cleared up, but the absolute truth, when you have a building, particularly the building on Chisholm Street, we have water lines that break out in the yard. We have water lines that break within the facility. And we also have lots of problems that are caused by residents.
I've got a couple of questions.
Yes.
I won't interrupt you, sorry, because I know that everybody probably has some questions. First, y'all help me, and Tara, how long have you been at Friendship?
5 years.
So y'all help me remember, what was the landscape of homeless shelter in Montgomery? I know Salvation Army has closed down. In the past decade, have there been others? Because y'all are currently the only one for the overnight.
for the overnight. So there's
So-
also Family Promise, and before COVID, their model in Montgomery was to operate out of the fellowship halls and Sunday school rooms of local churches, and that would rotate. So there would be maybe, let's say Fraser, was on board with Family Promise for that purpose. And if a family said, that they contacted Family Promise and said, we need shelter tonight,
Yeah.
then if Fraser was on board that month, then they went to
Is
Fraser.
this still happening?
No, ma'am.
So they're no longer operating, the Red Cross is no
Red
longer
Cro-
any help
No,
either?
the Red Cross has not.
Even
and-
for
and-
emergency, they were emergency
That-
shelter.
That's, in case of fire, they would give a hotel voucher for maybe a week.
All right, so, and we have no idea what the timeline, I won't get into the Salvation Army question. So we need you guys, and we need you guys whole and functioning. Y'all gotta come to us before you have $0. It's, you know, you've gotta come to us regularly. We have, and it's not that one thing is more important than the other, but we have a revolving door of people. Our phones blow up 24/7 with really important needs. And unfortunately, you're not in the county budget. Do you receive city budget funds? Right. So that means you've got to jump up and down and get our attention. That might not seem right because this is such an important issue, but you can't come to us and say you're broke next week. Because we want to help you. We need you out there. We know the good work you're doing. My Leadership Montgomery project team worked with Friendship. We're going to, I'm going to help you. I believe, we're going to help you in some capacity. But starting today, I mean, you got to stay on our radar
24/7.
all the
Understood.
time. I mean, you need our cell phone numbers. You need to be able to text us. And we'll get you all of that information because you're doing such an important work. But we've got to talk.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
just a couple of questions. First, what's your major source of funding?
Individual donors,
Individual donor.
individual
And
donors.
you have to raise what, how much a year?
65,000 a month.
Right.
This is.
That's not sustainable
what,
on in any
but,
metric.
You know, and this is something for us to talk about in long term. I do intend to help you. I think we're all on the same page with that.
Try to figure it out.
But this is, and Commissioner Walker raised an excellent point, back in 2008, just before I wasn't on the commission then, but I came in right after it and saw what had happened. I don't know if you were in the budget prior to 2008, but in 2008,
No.
most of the nonprofits were cut out of the budget because of the Great Recession. And we've since then not added any, your facility and what you do is so important. I didn't realize that you're the only one left in town. I mean, I thought there were at least two. It's just so important to us until, I think it's something that this commission should consider putting back into the budget as one of our
I don't know that
nonprofits.
they were ever in the budget.
I don't know if you were.
I don't know.
We
if
were
she
not.
was.
I don't know if you were, but it's something to think about, especially during these times.
We didn't cut them.
When what you need, I mean, you shouldn't have to raise it all. There should be something that you're getting from us. And I think the city should think about doing the same thing. You're that important to what we
Thank
do.
you.
We have our EMA who will go out and open up. The city
Yes.
has a shelter.
We
Y'all work with them?
we work with
And so
Director
the
Thornton.
city's trying to do something. I don't think the county,
We're not, the city, I talked to the city, they are trying to get money, they wanna try to give them at least up to 200, in the next less than 30 days. And so we've got to, and I tell you guys this from firsthand, I worked with Tara, I sat on the board. I have sat and laid in the rooms while people had COVID and took care of them. I have made sure people were fed. And I'm telling you this out of my personal pocket. And I've supported Tara, and I know Ms. Cooper has personally, buying food for the kids, taking care of kids and everything else.
School uniforms.
And everything that has to be done. And we've got to so much, and I say this, and I've gone, and I have to say, Commissioner Walker and Harris, both of them, and I all said we need to look at our budget and cut some people out of our budget that are receiving money that don't need to be receiving it. But this is a cause that need to be in our budget that's receiving money. We've got to help. We complain about the homeless, but how can you complain if we don't help? And so that's something we've got to do, and it's a charge to us all as county commission. I think all of us are willing to help. We just are hearing your voice now, but you can't let your voice not be heard. You know, my grandmother used to say, a closed mouth never gets fed.
Yes, ma'am.
So you've got to speak so that we can understand and know what's going on. I firsthand know what's going on. You know I know what's going on, and still do what I can for you now.
Yes.
So, and it's so much to go on. We maybe, all of us need to even go over there and tour, because it's, she let me know something the other day, that she's about to be required, and something people don't think about, homeless men with children. She's now got to find space to house homeless men with their kids.
Yes.
A couple things. One, you are going to the city tonight. Of course, the budget's 3 times what ours is.
Yes.
Keep that in mind. And yes, I think it's consensus, we want to help. We got to figure out how we can help. And then the second thing is, we've obligated $1 million to homelessness and food insecurity. Susan's here. Where is that money going?
So there's a,
This is Susan Kennedy, by the way. Where is that $1 million going? And is friendship a part of that?
well, there was an RFP, you know, we have to bid out everything. And so there has been an evaluation of the RFPs. The RFP went out, came back in, they're evaluating that RFP and are gonna issue a conditional award to the vendor.
Did
And
y'all apply? Were they a part of that?
We were part of River and Austin's RFP. We were told
Y'all
that
tied
as a
in with
shelter.
them.
I hear that.
We were told that as a shelter, we could not apply on our own.
So y'all did apply with Mercy House?
He put us in his RFP. He included
Okay,
us.
so when would that be finalized?
it should be this week or next.
So we could use some of that money, right?
So that money will then be, we'll have to enter into a contract with them at that point. So it's not immediate, you know, this money's slow, not fast. But, you know, I would say probably in the next 60 days.
60 days, we could get,
But that will have to come through, it'll have to be matched to the RFP. So it'll have to come through the RFP, but there could be some funds for temporary housing in there. So.
are we doing anything besides providing shelter and food for the homeless? Are we trying to help them get?
Absolutely. So
Oh, yes, definitely.
People have up to 12 months to live at Friendship Mission, and when they come to our doors, we make it very clear that we're going to get into their business, meaning intense case management. You must meet with your case manager. You must keep us posted. When people come in, they have up to 30 days to get a job, or if we have to, for some, we have to start from the beginning. They come to us and they don't have an ID. They don't have government-issued identification. They don't have a birth certificate. They don't have the $37 that it takes to get an ID. So we do that for them. We walk through all of those steps, from socks and undergarments to an ID to income. For those who are maybe receiving a government check, Social Security or disability, because we have a lot of seniors right now and a lot of sickly people, we work with them to help them manage their money. Mrs. Cooper comes to teach financial literacy. We walk through every step with them. We connect them to the resources that are available in this county and in this state, so that when they leave us, they are on their feet. They have a job with MPS. They have an apartment, a house. They have furniture. They have resources so that if they run into a roadblock, they can either call us and say help, or they can remember what we've taught them in the time they were with us, and they know how to dial those phone numbers.
Yeah, I ask everybody to provide a budget. Can y'all get us a budget?
We can.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. And also your revenue stream. Where
Yes,
you're
sir.
getting the contributions, and how reliable are those contributions moving forward?
We
So
will.
to help y'all make sure you don't get in this position again, so.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to say I admire your modesty, and certainly, I think sometimes the public thinks that a homeless person, and I'm glad you're all here to put a face with homelessness, because sometimes the public think that maybe it's someone who quit their job and took up a drug habit or something, you know, and just out there, but it runs the gamut, you know, from various socioeconomic levels. So I'm glad that you all, well, not under these circumstances, but glad that you all came out to speak with us. And I still can't understand why you all could not be considered as an applicant or beneficiary for the monies that are in the American Rescue Plan Act. I just don't think it's true that you could not be a beneficiary, so we need to explore that a little bit more.
Yes, sir.
But again, thank you all for coming, and along with my colleagues, I certainly want to see what we can do to get you in the budget.
Thank you, all of you.
Can I add just one thing, because I didn't finish how I came up with a $150,000 calculation. Our annual budget for the last 2 years has hit $1 million. That's a lot of money to invest in all those who come through our door. We do have a budget right now that we can share and show you where those dollars come from and how those dollars are spent. So there's no issue providing that. When I ask for the 150 for the next 4 months, y'all, I have to be 100% honest. At the last board meeting, just a couple of weeks ago, when our bookkeeper said, she held up a sign to me that said, y'all need to have a fundraiser, we're broke. I didn't appreciate that as a board member. But what had happened, so that you know why we hit the door and said we're broke, we had several large expenditures for repairs that had to be done. And, I mean, it's not like something breaks and we go, okay, fix it, call the maintenance man. We don't have a maintenance man, but it was a very fast drain on the money at a time when individual donors don't give a lot. We have donors that give $5 to $5,000. But you go through dry spells. We know that around year end, there's a lot of people that are doing tax planning and will make contributions. But we just hit the wall with expenditures on repairs. And when that sign was held up in front of me, of course, I hit the panic button. Because when I sat and did the calculations, I thought, we may not get through the next 2 weeks. Fortunately, we had a couple of very large donations. One company contributed $35,000, one couple contributed $25,000. That bought us some time. The $150,000 that I requested won't fix our issues, but it will help very much, because we are well aware that our services are needed.
All right, excuse me, I think we're running out of time, but just know this, if that should happen again, and you have pressing repairs that needs to be made to continue to operate, that's when you come.
Okay, thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
Is there any indication how much of that $1 million to the nursing house is going to y'all? Because if you're the only shelter, you're the only homeless.
It's 200 and something, isn't it? It's 200. They will be getting a check for 200 and something.
Is that what you're talking, is that what you're saying the city's gonna do, or is the city?
No.
No, the city's
No.
giving his own. The mayor's looking to put them in the budget and give his own money to them.
Well, the budget's passed.
Well, he's
I'm
looking
saying.
at, but I put him in the budget in the past, but he's also looking to give them money.
We'd have to do a budget change.
Yeah, at least 100, he's talking about 100 or so.
100 or so, or 200?
That 200 is coming from ARPA,
Yeah,
but the 100 or so is coming from the city.
okay. Y'all be there tonight? At the
We,
city council meeting?
we are not
We're not on the agenda.
on the agenda tonight that we know of.
You already made the ask though?
We did,
Oh,
We've made the ask.
on October 31st. That
Okay.
was in the mayor's conference room.
And from my understanding, said, he and Chip said that they will be finding other monies for you before you
Yes.
left out of there. And so they reached out to us.
Cheryl, can you verify what you told me? Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Is that all we got, Florence, or is?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Item Number 7 is a resolution to, no, I'm sorry, a resolution in order of Montgomery County Commission for the 2024 severe weather preparedness tax holiday, February 23rd through 25th.
Number 9.
Yes, I'm sorry. Is that next agenda?
Yeah, that'd be next agenda. You skipped 8.
Right. Lease renewal with Burford Plantation for the rental of storage space for voting equipment.
And I did ask if we're completely out of space, so this is something we got to redo again. So that'd be next agenda.
Item number 10 is a resolution authorizing the county's Thanksgiving holiday observance on Friday, November 24th.
That'd be next agenda.
And item number 11 is a 2024 commission meeting schedule.
There's no schedule attached to ours. Is there a schedule? Have I got the schedule? Can we get a copy of the? We'll move it to next
Certainly.
agenda based on us looking
We'll,
at it.
we'll get you one before the formal session.
So is that it?
Mr. Chairman, I did, for the Friendship Mission people, I did get a note from the sheriff. They're going to handle Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner for you. Yeah. That's on Sheriff Cunningham, yeah.
Thank you, Wesley. I know you're gonna do all the work, so, yeah, he's just gonna come and smile, but I know you're gonna have to do all the work, so. Anybody got anything else? We got a couple of minutes. Well, we will take about a 7-minute break, but we will start at 10 o'clock sharp with a formal meeting. 10 o'clock. Everybody has plenty of time to go to the restroom.